Hey guys, today we're fortunate to invite Dave Rogers to come onto our show to talk about fear. So Dave, he is amazing. In his 30s, he was able to build and manage $1 billion bond in Hong Kong for a European financial institution. At the age of 37, however, he decided to shift his focus on building social enterprises and coaching entrepreneurs. Now he is one of Asia's best motivational speaker. He has been regarded Asia's leading entrepreneur coach, and now today he's gonna explore the dynamic of fear and how we can use fear in our favor. He's also gonna introduce us some practical exercise on how we can use fear. So without further ado, let's get started. Got it right now.
Great.
So hello, Dave. Thank you for taking your time joining us to join us today. So let's get started with this question. How do you get to do what you are doing right now, today?
Well, it's been quite a journey because I started out as a banker and I wanted to be rich. So I went into finance and I had an opportunity to work in Japan for a number of years. Yet it was in Japan that, again, being a sports person, I used to be an ice hockey player, I used to be a lacrosse player. I like competition, which got me my job. Like really, being competitive got me a job in a bank, one of the top Canadian banks. It got me the opportunity to go abroad. Yet the big thing that really got me to where I am today is my passion for being part of a team. And so whether it was being in a bank and being part of the HR team or being part of the corporate team or being part of the bond trading team, I would love being part of a team, and I love being with people to be able to do great things. So as I moved in my finance career and I went from Japan to Hong Kong, I got headhunted because of my team building skills, my team management skills, my leadership skills in a team. So I went and became a bond trader for a number of years. And then during that time, I started investing in businesses. And it was very exciting as an angel investor, and I've invested in now probably more than 15, maybe 18 businesses. Wow. And I love being part of a team, even as a mentor, even as an investor, as somebody who likes to build businesses. And that's one of the things that I've seen myself as, not necessarily as a coach, yet I love coaching, and I've gone and I've studied with some of the top coaches. I've developed some techniques and some tools to be able to help people shift their mindset, their focus, because there are some great principles of success that if you study success, you can share success, you can feel successful. Yet it's not always been that way. Part of my journey was actually going through some really difficult times, being very self-critical and actually beating myself immensely, beating up myself so much that I actually even thought about committing suicide. So by going through the journey of pain, I've actually been able to discern what is going to affect me and drop me down and maybe what will raise me above. And that's when I got very curious about psychology, peak performance, the hypnosis, many of the tools that allows people to feel nicer about themselves so they can truly be the best they can be.
Wow, that's amazing. Right, that's truly amazing. That's truly amazing. I'm serious about it. So, okay, so I'm going to jump into the topic we're going to talk today. So what does it cause when people are living in fear?
See, fear is a F-E-A-R. It's a word. So if people are in fear and it's stopping them from doing what they want to do, that type of fear is driving them down or pulling them down or stopping them. Yet if it's a fear of an intuition that you sense that there's danger there, that's not a bad fear. That's actually a very good fear. Because if you're going down the street and you see a dark alley and you get a little bit of fearful, it's probably a good idea to start using that fear to go a different direction. So fear in itself is not wrong. My question is, does this fear incite and excite, or does it suppress and depress? And so it's your relationship with fear. I love fear. Fear is my friend. When I was starting out in public speaking, I was afraid of public speaking. Yet what did I do about it? I could have stopped and never talked, or I felt the fear and I did it anyways. I stepped through the fear. Today, sometimes if I get afraid and it's a fun type of fear, that's great. You watch kids, you watch people going on a roller coaster because you like to create the fear. So the fear factor in itself is not wrong. It's whether it raises you up or whether it drops you down. And so your relationship, it's false evidence appearing real, on one hand, yet it's also a sense, an intuition. And so, again, many people really are negative towards fear. I'm not. I'm actually relatively neutral, yet I've actually learned to like fear. I like to put myself in situations that I'm a little bit afraid because I feel that that's nervousness, that life force, that energy raises my game. It's like when you ever play sports, it's like getting pumped up for that last 5 minutes. You want the ball. You know, there might be some fear that you might miss it, yet there's also exhilaration that you might make it. So I believe that fear can be your friend. And that's probably the biggest takeaway for your listeners and for yourself today. Is fear your friend? If it was your friend, how would you treat it? How would you talk to it? I talk to my fear as, oh, I'm feeling a little bit afraid right now. Isn't that really cool? Or, wow, this is just not feeling good. I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to go this way. And so it is a relationship. It is an intuition. And so in business, in entrepreneurship, having fear is, again, waking up and looking for new challenges, pushing boundaries, being aware that you're going to have a lot of failure in business. It's just, is failure your friend or is it your enemy too? And in business, failure is a big part of it. The people that you see today, the people you admire today, the people at the top of the game are often the people that had the most failure. Because failure is so important to go through the learning cycles. The best tennis players, the best golfers, the best athletes have hit more balls into the net, have missed more baskets, have hooked, have sliced, have made more mistakes, have made more failures, have had more failures than most people who sit there and are too afraid to fail.
Wow,
And so that is so important to be aware. We talk about failure as the art of falling forward. And so if you're afraid of failure, I'm asking you right now to replace that program because it's a program. It's in here. It's often false. And so if you start to engage it differently and you started to have more fun, it's a great antidote for fear. Find the fun. In fact, there's a really wonderful technique of finding the humor. And if you can laugh at yourself, it's a great way to stir up the negativity and what will hold you back to the energy and what will move you forward.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, what you say is really...
I actually have spoken a lot about fear.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's really controversy that you say fear is your friend because a lot of people are trying to say that fear is not really a good thing. Let's try to eliminate fear no fear at all.
I want fear to be my friend. I want intuition to be my friend. I want that ability to sense and to be aware. And if it's a false fear, whoa, that's pretty cool. Wow. Or again, you think about a teenager who's going to be going and asking a girl or a boy to go out on a date. There's fear, but that's fun fear. Come on. You've got to go through fear to get the skill. And so to get the skill, you've got to be able to fail. And then you get back up. And that's the dynamic of engaging fear with fun, with curiosity, with different types of energy so you don't get stuck.
Oh, wow. Okay, right. Thank you for the explanation of what really is fear is. So I'm gonna
Let me say, what really fear is what individual feels it is. Because that's what's real to them. So what I'm sharing with you is my position and my relationship with fear.
Yes.
Now, let's invite people who might be able to use these ideas or these thoughts to go and maybe get a new relationship with fear. Because if right now the relationship with fear is negative or bad, just imagine every day they're beating themselves up. We're inviting them for a new way of looking at fear. We're inviting them for a new way to have a new life, because a life without irrational fear is liberating. Life without irrational sense of failing all the time is fun. It's beautiful. It's magical. And that's what I'm inviting people to do, is to make their life magical. Because you and I can't do it for them. Yet you and I can do it. You can do it for you, and I can do it for me.
Yes, definitely.
And that's the part I'm inviting them.
Right. Thank you. So how can we really turn this fear into our power? Do you have some practical exercise?
Absolutely, because when I used to be afraid of public speaking. So actual exercises, as a speaker, you get up there and you get nervous. And you start thinking, oh, I'm going to make a mistake. Oh, the people are going to think I'm stupid. Oh, I'm so dumb. And you get yourself all nervous. Well, that's where A, people aren't breathing. So the first thing you do when you're a little bit afraid, the natural tendency is not to breathe. So the invitation is to breathe. And actually, people will start looking down. That's the physiology of fear. They start crushing up their body. They don't allow any oxygen in. So again, the way to deal with fear is to put your shoulders back, is to actually put a smile. You talk about putting a smile to release endorphins. You look up. It's really hard to be afraid when you look up and you smile. Okay. It's almost impossible. So when I've studied with people like Anthony Robbins and Robert Kiyosaki and wonderful psychologists and psychiatrists like Bruce Lipton, we've always started with physiology first. Is your body is going to often give you the messages before your mouth. In fact, your mouth often doesn't even have clarity when you're really, really afraid or you're nervous or you're upset. Your mouth does it, your body says it first. So we're inviting people to take a breath, to look up, and to change their physiology. One of the things when I speak, as you see, I move my hands. I move my hands partly because I have all this energy. Where's it going to go? If I hold my body like this and I get stiff and I don't move, I get almost like dead. Whereas if I actually allow myself to move, not too much, yet when you're speaking, you start to learn ways to allow the energy, the nervous energy, to flow. And you can also use that nervous energy to connect with people with a smile. And people will start to cheer for you. And you'll start to honor yourself. And that's one of the great ways to start shifting your fear about being judged by other people to a nurturing way of nurturing yourself, honoring yourself, liking yourself, smiling from the inside out, and allowing the energy to energize what you choose to do. And so when I'm speaking to you from my heart. I'm speaking from wisdom of experience, yet I'm also being playful because that's best for you. It's best for the people to believe that if you start to focus on being nice to yourself, having curiosity and fun, expressing even kindness, people are going to pick that up. You're going to pick it up. And that's what's key in being able to engage fear differently, to shift your relationship with fear. Breathe, look up, change your physiology, smile, feel the fear, and do it anyways is a nice mantra sometimes.
Wow, yes. That's amazing. I heard that, your mind changes affects your behavior, and your behavior affects your mind. So doing those physiology really changes, just changes your mind state of mind. Do you have any more exercise for that? Just to, that's the only one.
Well, again, the key here, and this came from a dear friend of mine who some of your listeners would like to look up. His name's Glenn Levy, and National Geographic did a series of shows about him because he's the most dangerous man in the world. He's a martial artist who can conduct electromagnetic energy and does these incredible feats of healing. He's able to do incredible activities. He's a dear friend of mine, and he's got a beautiful phrase that says, energy goes where focus flows. So what you focus on. So if you focus on fear, all your energy is going to go to fear, and it's going to make you nervous. It's going to start allowing you to sweat. It's going to give you total giving away your power. But if you focus on, what do you want to focus on? When you're afraid, what you would like to focus on being afraid, or you want to focus on, wow, this is cool, or wow, I wonder what would be the best thing to do. And so you start to slow down, and this is what the greatest athletes are able to do. Greatest speakers, greatest performers are able to control time. And the way they're able to control time is through their breath. And so when I come back to breath again, yet it's a combination of your breath and what you focus on. And so are you focusing on, this is interesting. Wow, this is really cool. This is exciting. Or, oh my God, this is so frightening. This is so scary. I'm going to die.
Wow.
It's your choice.
All right. Okay. Wow.
So focus is a big, so we go for breath. Breath interrupts everything. Your body physiology shifts the way the energy can go, and then focusing on choice. What do I want to feel right now? Do you want to feel energized? You want to feel power? You want to feel connected? So focus would be 3 more wonderful tips for you.
Wow, yes, yes. It's like you're disrupting the negative chain of thoughts by just breathing and just smiling at yourself. Then choose to refocus on the things that you want to focus. That's how you turn fear into
This
power. Yes.
this is called consciousness. And so the old patterns, the old behaviors are often records that were put into place when you're between the ages of 2 and 9 years old, when you don't necessarily have a lot of consciousness. You're basically responding, reacting to your environment. So what's beautiful about it is that for most of our life, these patterns or records play us. So you get angry, you get jealous, you get lonely. All of these old records get played, and you're not even aware of it. So when you bring in consciousness, which is the type of coaching that I like to focus on, I start to allow people to start seeing these old records and then scratching the old records that no longer serve the new person that they want to be, and be aware that you're a new person tomorrow. And if you don't believe me, do research on every cell in your body is going to be new in 7 years. And so one of the things that happens is our cells in our body become different, but our records are the same unless you bring consciousness into it. And this is what I'm inviting people. This is what type of coaching that I do with primarily entrepreneurs and executives, and lately with a lot more youth entrepreneurs, because I think it's so cool for them to be able to change their patterns today with the methodology I just shared with you. That's how simple it can be. I do call it smooth and simple because my life was not smooth and simple before, and today it is.
Wow. It's such a wonderful, elegant, and simple technique to just sort of shift gear. Wow. Okay. Really, thanks for the interview today. So I'm gonna just end off this interview with one last question. What is life without fear, or sort of what's life when you use fear with use when you use fear well?
Well, that's great because you've had to re-engineer your question on the spot. So life without fear, false fear. Okay, so this is the thing, is that when you're afraid, bring curiosity. What is this fear? Is this a real fear, or is this one of those little funny fears that happened when I was 6 years old and somebody went boo and I ran away? Or is it something that is even deeper? Is it maybe my parents' fear? Or is it deeper? Is it my grandparents' fear? Because I'm also a student and also a practitioner of past life or transgenerational trauma. Is that the trauma of your grandparents gets passed to your parents, gets passed to you, as does your DNA. So many of the fears you might have, you might not even be aware where they come from. And so if you were to do some hypnosis or some altered states of consciousness, it actually might be a fear from one of your ancestors that you have the opportunity to clear with consciousness if you choose to. And so fear is a beautiful indicator, just like happiness, just like joy, just like kindness. So you don't have to say it's wrong or negative or bad. Accept it, honor it, be grateful for it, because it has, in many ways, served you. It's actually allowed you to be where you are today. And so if you have a state today of gratitude, fear is to be thanked. Now, if you'd like to change a behavior as you move forward, many people today are looking to change jealousy, for instance. As a young person, you don't know how to handle jealousy or anger. Yet, as a person of consciousness, you can actually find anger or find jealousy and look at it and go, wow, I'm really angry right now. What's that about? What rule of mine has been broken? Or if it's jealousy, it's like explore. What is the root of this jealousy? Have I been hurt? Have I been damaged? Has this happened to me before? And bringing consciousness and a presence and awareness, you can then analyze it and shift the pattern. Now, some people say, oh, that's so hard. That means for them it's hard. I don't look at it as being hard. I'm looking at it as case by case, an opportunity to shift in the moment, because that's the only time you can shift. I have a relationship with fear. It doesn't mean that tonight or tomorrow or next month I won't experience fear. In fact, if I do, I hope, I pray that I'll be able to share these tips that I'm sharing today with my experience with fear in that situation. Yet I'm not guaranteeing I will, because that's the thing that is uncertain. that makes and allows and co-creates a life that is uncertain. But is that uncertainty fearful, or is that uncertainty exciting? That's up to you. That's your focus. I choose to focus on excitement, gratitude, forgiveness, and sometimes, actually a lot, love and thanks.
Wow. Hey, Dave, I just want to thank you so much for jumping the interview with us. And I have learned a lot of incredible insights from you, really. So, for those of you who are watching this interview, remember to apply this, this insight and wisdom. Just remember to breathe and refocus. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you for watching.
The middle point there,
Yes.
and to move a little bit.
Yes, movement,
Because
movement.
that is going to happen, and it's whether you suppress it or you actually allow it to be part of the experience.
All right, all right. So, guys, thank you for watching. Smash it, guys.